I feel like his style is, I just put him in things that I feel like are cute, but
Yes.
not so overstated. I feel like a
Yes.
lot of baby clothes, it's a lot of print, it's a lot of animals,
Yes.
it's a lot of things going on. So I always try to find chill, relaxed sweats and just big t-shirts and
Yes.
hoodies and
Selena Gomez's prenup has exploded online, but the real story isn't just about a contract. It's about what that contract means, the timing of it, and the message the world is reading between the lines. This isn't your standard celebrity prenup drama. It's something that's resonating deeper, hitting nerves that have people arguing with total strangers online, and injecting new energy into old stories fans thought they'd put to rest. It's about trust, reputation, history, and the uneasy truth that even fairy tales have fine print. When the news first broke, most people expected a familiar Hollywood cycle: headlines, speculation, and a quick fade into the next scandal. But this time, the reaction hit different. From the moment the first details leaked, fans and critics alike began dissecting every word, every rumor clause, every hint of what Selena was protecting. Not just her finances, but her story, her legacy, her independence. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about legal jargon, but about the cost of building a life in public, and whether love can ever really exist outside the shadow of what's come before. What stood out immediately was a sense that this decision wasn't rushed or emotional. It felt measured, almost surgical. Selena's journey hasn't been easy. Years of public relationships, business ventures that rose and fell under scrutiny, the kind of relentless attention that can turn even simple decisions into headline news. The prenup was less a barricade than a blueprint, a way to draw a line around what she'd built, not as a rejection, but as a declaration. One fan put it best: Selena spent over a decade creating something from nothing, so why shouldn't she protect it? She's seen how quickly fortunes can change in her world, how love can be complicated by fame, money, and the constant noise of other people's opinions. Still, there was another side to the debate. Some worried that drawing too bold a line could be mistaken for a lack of faith in her relationship with Benny Blanco. Isn't trust supposed to be the point of marriage? Does a prenup really protect love? Or does it plant doubt before the honeymoon even begins? It's a question that's haunted celebrity couples for years, and this time, the answer seemed even less clear. The internet split into two furious camps. For every person praising Selena's maturity and foresight, there was someone else accusing her of being too guarded, too businesslike, too afraid. But the loudest opinions often said more about the speaker than the subject. It's easy to project your own fears or hopes onto celebrities, to make their choices a reflection of your own beliefs about what love should look like. That's why this story kept growing, refusing to settle down. For some, the prenup became a symbol of wisdom, a sign that Selena had learned from the chaos of Hollywood romance. For others, it was a red flag, proof that she expected the worst even before the best had a chance to begin. What really escalated the situation, though, was Benny's reaction, or more accurately, his lack of one. Commenters couldn't stop talking about how calmly he accepted the agreement. No drama, no hesitation, no rumors of arguments or last-minute cold feet. For many, that acceptance seemed to confirm the strength of their bond. When one partner is willing to respect the other's boundaries without seeing them as rejection, isn't that a kind of trust too? But as always, there was a flip side. Some argued that even the most practical agreements can create invisible pressure over time. What if the boundaries meant to protect the relationship end up boxing it in? What if, on a bad day, all that paperwork starts to feel like a wall instead of a safety net? In Hollywood, where marriages are often measured in months, not decades, these fears aren't unfounded. But stepping back from the chaos, it's clear that the debate isn't really about Selena and Benny. It's about what their choices represent to the rest of us. The prenup isn't a villain or a hero. It's a mirror reflecting our own hopes, anxieties, and the stories we tell ourselves about love, security, and sacrifice. Some see safety. Others see suspicion. Only Selena and Benny know the real story, and maybe that privacy is the most important thing they're protecting. As the conversation deepened, the internet did what it always does. It started drawing comparisons. And no comparison was more inevitable than the one between Selena's prenup and Justin Bieber's years earlier. When Justin and Hailey Baldwin were preparing for marriage, The rumors swirled around their own prenup negotiations. Back then, the narrative was different. Justin, with his massive career and complicated history, was seen as reasonable for wanting to protect his assets. But the reaction was messy, clouded by rumors of family tension, hesitations, and the ever-present speculation about trust. Every detail was scrutinized, every pause in their engagement process treated as proof of trouble. The difference between then and now became glaring. Where Justin and Haley's negotiations reportedly created friction, Selena and Benny seemed to reinforce their calmness. Fans began to fixate on this contrast. Why did one couple spark rumors of disaster, while the other seemed to grow stronger? Was it timing? Personal growth? The difference between public performance and private reality? The internet loves a good rivalry, and soon every detail was being compared. The way Selena and Benny talk about each other, the consistency of their public appearances, the sense of stability versus the sense of carefulness. Selena and Benny appear relaxed, confident, aligned in their interviews and social media posts. There's no sense of over-explanation, no defensiveness, just a steady kind of clarity that fans find reassuring. By contrast, Justin and Haley often seem to be addressing rumors, clarifying misunderstandings, discussing the challenges and pressures of being married in public. Their relationship, for all its longevity, sometimes comes across as more guarded, as if they're still searching for solid ground. This isn't a judgment. It's just a pattern people notice, the pattern that keeps the conversation alive. At the heart of it all, the internet isn't really choosing sides. It's watching for signs, looking for clues about what makes a relationship last when everything is on display. For Selena and Benny, the prenup debate became less about legal protection and more about emotional security. Fans see it as a sign that they know who they are, what they want, and what they're willing to do to keep their partnership free from the ghosts of past mistakes. For Justin and Haley, the conversation is more complicated. There's admiration for their honesty about struggles, but also an undercurrent of concern. Are they growing together or just trying to keep up appearances? In both cases, the public is obsessed with the idea of stability, of finding a formula that guarantees happiness in a world where happy endings feel increasingly rare. What makes Selena and Benny's story so compelling is that it doesn't pretend to offer answers. There's no promise that paperwork will keep them together, no guarantee that calmness will last forever. But there's a sense that they're not afraid to set terms, to communicate openly, to protect what matters. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Boundaries don't have to be barriers. They can be bridges, if both people are willing to cross them together. The endless debate over Selena's prenup isn't really about money, or even about love. It's about the ways we all try to protect ourselves from loss, from disappointment, from the fear that what we built could disappear overnight. It's about maturity and the courage to admit that even the deepest connection needs a foundation in a world obsessed with happily ever after. Maybe the most radical thing you can do is plan for every possibility and choose love anyway. As the story continues to unfold, the world will keep watching, analyzing, comparing, and speculating. But behind every headline, there's a real relationship and a reminder that the only people who truly know what's written in the fine print are the ones who signed it. Which brings us back to you, the reader. When you look at these stories side by side, what stands out to you? Is it the confidence of setting clear boundaries or the vulnerability of admitting you need them? Maybe it's something else entirely. A single moment, a phrase, a look that tells you more than any rumor ever could. Whatever it is, it says as much about your own idea of love as it does about theirs. And that's why we keep reading, keep arguing, keep hoping for answers in a world that rarely gives them. Because deep down, we all want the same thing. A love that lasts, protected and free, strong enough to survive both the headlines and the silence that follows.
Good night, Chris.